Social change comes very slowly. It can come very fast at times. Right now we're feeling it coming very sluggishly because the press is focused on some wild hombres that are trying to run for president, and they're tearing apart their own political party. And this is not good, because we could be well moving into a period of strong fascism where the government and the corporations want all the control over our lives. And we need to be careful about what we're cheering for, what we're hoping for, and the kinds of goals we really think we have. While things might seem despairing at times and very discouraging, when you see the raft of wicked legislation that just came out of Madison, Wisconsin, you can't give up hope. Because when you give up hope, you die. And we can't do that for the sake of our children. We have to not only stay with hope, we have to imbue our children to stay with hope, because they too will have generations that they feel responsible for. Oh, the name escapes me, but I was reading this biography, and in it this activist said, our work is never done. You get something done and then you find out you have to do something else in order to maintain what you've already taken possession of. Yeah, we could have learned from the past. I mean, there was the Depression and there was a struggle. The labor unions rose, and that threatened a lot of landholders here in America, because it rose at the same time the Communist Party had strengthened in the Soviet Union. And there was a lot of paranoia around that, but it was needless, because the American Union movement was American. It was not a Soviet. I mean, even the idea that the Soviets would come here and run this country, can you imagine the idea of anybody coming here and running this country? But that was the meme in the 1950s. We don't want this communists to take over this country. Well, they wouldn't know any more how to run this country than we do. It's a democracy, and we have to keep working it out. The union movement was strong because it fed people. It allowed people to get home from work. It gave them insurances. It gave them access. Even Henry Ford recognized that these employees need to buy my cars, so he raised their wages. I mean, yeah, we can learn a lot from history. Well, the Bucks Arena will be prominent 88 nights a year. For the other 270 nights of the year, I'm not sure what the plan is, but I despair when I hear them talk about the Bucks themselves planning a whole downtown area after their image and likeness, as if they are able to be urban planners besides being the owners of a basketball team. They are not urban planners. And they need to let go of that concept and allow local businesses to thrive in that area, or that's going to be it's going to be a huge economic desert. Woody Allen says the most important thing in life is showing up. And I'm kind of that person. I show up, I go to things, I learn. I think a lot of improvements in my own life have come from my experiences. As anybody would say, you have certain experiences, and if you understand them, if you're reasonably reflective about them, you can improve, you can bring more into your own life, you can do more things, you can make more friends. And I've learned these things when I was in contact with other people. I'm a voracious reader, but I think I get my ethics and my morals from hanging out with people. I mean, I know what needs to be done when I listen to people talking about Black Lives Matter or the high incarceration rate. But I'm just the bloke who shows up at meetings, and this may give people the impression that I'm so busy with so many things. And many times I'm at those meetings, I'm a student, I'm learning. And I want to learn something, I want to see things, and I want to write about it. And so I go to meetings, I go to things that are peripheral. And I missed the couple last week that I should like to have been at. But that's where I learn things. That's where I enrich my life, is when I'm with other people. Milwaukee culture has a long history of immigrants. The Irish, the Germans, the Polish, the Hispanics, the Italians, the Mexicans, South Americans. And many of these immigrants bring with them a strong affinity for their particular religion. I think the roots in Milwaukee are fairly deep, and sometimes they're troublesome because they also generate a conservatism that's sort of like, well, we got to pull up the drawbridges now and stop this immigration. And they think they're doing themselves a favor. I don't feel mean about anybody who distrusts immigrants, but they don't look to the future. And the future means we need to mix with these people. We need to work with them, because that's where the world is going. It's going to a mixed population in all countries. We have a lot of crises on the map, a lot of crises around schools and water and transportation, housing. But I think the greatest crisis is probably the one that will be the most difficult to resolve, because all those other crises have technical solutions. But the crisis of racism is a crisis of our soul.